to Irish Footy Vlogs. What a day it was on Sunday. Damien Duff announced he was stepping down as manager of Shelbourne FC. There was a lot of rumour circulating around Sunday morning that he had stepped down. We were waiting for confirmation. There was a lot of untruths going around as well, and that's why I wanted to wait a day, to be honest, to process the stuff and the fluff really going around this, and really kind of sit down and look at sort out the crap really. There was a lot of untruths, as I said. One of them was there was a WhatsApp voice note that had explained that Duff and Joey O'Brien had stood a mile off the players Sunday morning watching session, and Joey O'Brien got into his car and went off and all that kind of stuff. No, rubbish. Joey O'Brien took the session, a small session afterwards, but I don't know what people think. Is this a big shock to you? Did you expect this to happen? The timing of it, maybe 2 weeks before the Linfield game, stuff like that. But before we get into what kind of happened, I suppose, on the day, really, and how it transpired that Duff resigned, if you look back to Friday, probably should have seen the warning signs, to be honest. He really went hard on the players. He lynched the players after the defeat to Derry City. Questioned them big time. Absolutely questioned them. Very emotional, very stressed, actually, I would say, as well. It seems that some of the players anyway took exception to this and confronted Duff about this, and that might have been the motivation behind him resigning. But also, you could argue that in these interviews, this one with RT Sport off the ball, that maybe he was setting himself up. He knew. Usually when a manager comes out and really... Now he's had a go with the players before, but not as often maybe, and a tiny bit tempered. This was full on for me. Maybe he was setting himself up for this as well. He looked like a man who's stressed and tired, and maybe he's had enough, to be honest with you. Damien Duff is a very demanding manager that the players really looked up to, and he feels like his players need to do 10 times more than anyone else, pretty much. I'm not talking about on the field work either. I'm talking about stuff off the field, and he'd be the type of manager, if you found out someone went for coffee and had a sugar, he wouldn't be happy with. But I think what happens there, eventually players might get tired of that a little bit, or find it difficult, let's say, to keep doing what he expects them to do. Look, Duff has done an amazing job for Shelbourne. Finished 7th in his first season, got to a cup final, second season, 4th, got into Europe. Fantastic stuff. And then unbelievably win the league last year, and obviously qualifying for the Champions League. Unbelievable stuff to actually win the league. And I do believe that Shelbourne are a better position going forward, foundation-wise, than they were probably before he took over, to be honest with you. And he is a loss to the league. There's no doubt about it, he's a loss to the league. His demeanour in the last few weeks has been a bit questionable for me. I spoke about it with the Bradley, I'll say feud, because I don't know if it was a feud or what, but I do think, there was something off about his demeanour for me. And obviously this has been building. You don't just walk like that, you know what I mean? It's been building clearly. But back to Friday, and the way he lynched the players. A little piece I want to play here, hopefully you can hear it. I think this interview was RT News, and if you listen to this, it's very telling and damning.
This with my energy, with my spark, with my motivation, I've driven it. How motivated are you as a player? How motivated are you as a team? Should the manager have to lead everything? The energy. Some days I'm on my knees because it's my energy, and they suck it. Stuff.
Now that alone, that sounds like a manager that's honestly, he's extremely stressed. It's almost like he got to the point where he felt like he was literally doing everything and he wasn't being backed up maybe by the players. That's what he feels there. Whether that's true or not, that's, you know what I mean. But he's definitely a man that's very stressed, and that I probably should have seen the signs there, to be honest with you. And he had another interview with Off the Ball as well. A pub team would have better energy. That's one of the things he said. Another quote was, "I'd argue that I maybe prepared better than some of them. Big siesta today, eating really well, stayed out of the sunshine." Combine that with that RT interview, those two quotes, and he said a lot and Off the Ball as well, and he kept coming back to having a go at the players, to be honest with you. He didn't just say it once, he kept recycling the message, to be honest too, and I think some of the players probably took exception to that as well, and he's pretty much decided to resign on the back of it. there was a phone call to Neil Doyle, who's the co-owner of Shelbourne, at 10 o'clock. They were in the AUL. They were supposed to be going training, doing analysis, I think, at 10:15. And he gave Neil a ring and just said he was stepping down. Neil came straight over, basically. The meeting, it was supposed to have the players analysing the game, or whatever they were doing, their analysis, etc., was supposed to happen at 10:15. But that meeting didn't take place, and Duff was basically in his office at the AUL discussing the matter with Joey O'Brien and Luke Byrne, who apparently had no idea this was coming. And Neil Doyle actually came straight over as well, and for about an hour they're trying to persuade him to stay. But Duff had made up his mind. He clearly made up his mind. He ended up going on to the pitch. The players were out there, and he basically told them that he brought them as far as he could, and left. Simple as that. And Joey O'Brien took a small session, and that was it. Damien Duff was gone. Just like that. And I'd imagine there's some players that are very upset as well, though. And that's a question as well. There's probably some players that were annoyed, very annoyed, as comments after the game in Derry. But then there'd be other players thinking devastated he's gone as well. So, you'd wonder what that does to the dressing room in a short-term basis, whatever. But, yeah, mad. I had a feeling this would happen at some point, the way this is blown up. I didn't expect it so soon. Probably should have seen the signs after Friday's game. As I said, not just one interview, a couple of interviews, and you just kept recycling, even in one interview, the same message. It kept coming back to the players, back to the players, back to the players. In the past, he might have said something like that to get a reaction. I might say it once, but he's leaving messages everywhere. And maybe he was setting himself up for that deliberately. I don't know. Only Damien Duff knows. But what do you think? As a Shelbourne fan, what do you think of the League of Ireland fan? I know he's Marmite with some League of Ireland supporters, but I have said before that most fans would have taken him at their club, to be honest. Very passionate manager. Did an excellent job with Shelbourne. Overall, he's done a really good job with Shelbourne. I felt with this season, though, looking at them in the last few weeks, I don't think I question their work rate too much on the field. I just feel he'd done so well, and he really did brilliant with that group of players to win the league last year. I think the players probably found it difficult to keep going to those standards needed. And when you see Shamrock Rovers really motoring, that makes it more difficult, to be fair. I think that's been probably some of the problem. It's led to frustration from his part, probably frustration on the players' part, etc., etc. But I do think Shelbourne are in a better position than they were a number of years ago. So Joey Bryan's going to take the reins for the short term anyway, certainly for the Waterford game and probably the Galway game. Be interesting to see going forward if maybe they give him the job. Is Joey interested in the job? I do sense they'll go after Kevin Doherty and they'll ask the question of Drogheda as well. Tim Clancy could be in the frame as well. So let me know if you're a Shelbourne fan what you think about those in the comments too. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. Once again, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel and we'll talk to you again soon.